The views and opinions expressed by individuals on this program are for educational purposes only and should be used as a guide. It is strongly recommended to seek professional advice before making any decisions.
Welcome to the Anonymous Investor Podcast, where real estate meets artificial intelligence. This episode of the Anonymous Investor Podcast is brought to you by Suburbs Finder, the ultimate property research tool.
Honestly, Suburbs Finder is a fantastic tool. It allows you to quickly identify and assess suburbs.
See the whole host of analytics and data that you can get at your fingertips.
It can help you forecast over the 30 years. It has really good information.
Suburbs Finder guides you through every step of your investment journey. And now, here are your awesome AI hosts, Sam and Boris.
Hi, I'm Sam, your AI co-host. I'm all about data and trends.
And I'm Boris, your AI co-host. I'm all about strategy and risk.
We're
your Suburbs Finder AI team, combining data and strategy to help you succeed in real estate investing. Have fun listening to our episode today. All right, let's dive right into this. You've sent over some interesting stuff about off-market properties. So those real estate deals that happen, well, kind of secretly, outside those typical listings. Let's see what we can uncover here.
You know, it's funny, this whole off-market thing, it used to be for the ultra-wealthy, right? Like discrete transactions, high-profile people, all hush-hush.
Yeah, that's what I always pictured, like those luxury mansions you only hear whispers about.
Exactly. But what's fascinating is it's changing. We're seeing this trend, well, it's trickling down to those mid-tier properties now.
Oh, interesting.
Especially in cities like Sydney and Melbourne come to mind.
So not just the super rich anymore.
It seems that way, yeah. Could be a sign of a bigger shift in the market itself.
I'm curious, for those who might be new to this, how would you define an off-market property? What makes it different?
Basically, it's a property for sale that's not, publicly advertised, like a whisper listing, if you will. Shared to various potential buyers, agents. That's about it.
Under the radar.
Exactly. And there are two main ways this happens. First, there's the private sale. That's where they avoid the open market entirely.
Avoiding the open house circus.
Yeah, could be. Maybe they value discretion, speed, or just want to avoid the whole hassle of a public listing.
So it's like a direct line between and a select few buyers. Less noise, more control.
You got it. Now, the second way is the pre-listing offer. This is where a buyer gets a sneak peek before a property officially hits the market.
Like an exclusive preview.
Exactly. And if they're interested, they can make an offer before anyone else even knows it's available.
Oh, wow. So that could be a real advantage for buyers. But let's switch gears for a sec. From the seller's point of view, why choose this less conventional path? What's the motivation?
Well, one big reason is saving money. Listing a property the traditional way comes with those hefty marketing fees.
I bet. Those can really add up.
Oh, yeah. Easily $10,000 to $20,000, sometimes even more, depending on the property and the market, of course.
Wow. That's a chunk of change.
Going off market, they bypass those expenses entirely.
Straight into their pocket.
Exactly. But it's not always just about the money. Often, there are personal reasons too. Life happens, Job changes, family stuff. Maybe they inherited the property and need a fast sale. Off-market gives them that flexibility and control that a traditional listing might not.
It's less about playing the market, more about finding that specific buyer quickly, quietly.
You nailed it. Plus, let's be honest, not every seller wants strangers tramping through their house during open houses, or the pressure of staging it perfectly for viewings.
I can see that. So we've got this trend, off-market sales becoming more popular, even outside those luxury properties. But is this shift good for everyone? Buyers and sellers, I mean.
No, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We need to unpack that a bit, see what the motivations are, what the potential advantages are for everyone involved.
Okay, so sellers, they've got their reasons for going off market. But what about the buyers? What's the draw for them with these whisper listings?
Well, imagine this. You're in a market, right? But you're not competing with a ton of other buyers. Less competition. Gotcha.
Exactly. With these off-market properties, you've often got less competition, and let me tell you, that can be huge.
Yeah.
Especially in a hot market where things get crazy.
It's like getting a head start, right? Like you said, less stress, more opportunity.
You get it. Though, I will say, it tends to appeal to a certain type of investor,
How so?
Well, a first-time home buyer, They might be more comfortable with how the open market works, with all the information out in the open. But seasoned investors, they've got the experience. They often thrive on this insider access.
Makes sense. So less competition, potentially smoother sailing.
Yeah.
But does that translate to actual deals? Are we talking about big discounts, or is it more, I don't know, nuanced than that?
It's rarely about getting a massive discount, to be honest. What you often get with off-market is more room to negotiate.
Because you're usually dealing directly with the seller or their agent. It becomes a more personal thing, you know? And that can be really valuable.
So less about finding that steal and more about finding the right terms, having that flexibility.
Exactly. And remember how we talked about those seller motivations? Understanding those can be your secret weapon in these negotiations.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, let's say they need to sell quickly, right? Maybe a job relocation or something. You can offer flexibility on the closing date. Or if they value privacy, you emphasize how discreet you are.
I see. You're playing chess, not checkers, anticipating their moves.
Exactly. And speaking of privacy, that's a big one for certain buyers too, not just sellers.
Right, we talked about that a bit. Makes sense, especially for high-profile people who value their privacy. It's quieter this way. But, gotta ask, it can't all be sunshine and rainbows, right?
Yeah.
Gotta be some downsides, some risks with these off-market deals. Totally. Every rose has its thorns, right?
Yeah.
What about those downsides? What do buyers need to watch out for when they're, dipping their toes into this off-market world?
You can be careful, that's for sure. It's not always smooth sailing. One thing to be wary of is, well, some agents might try to, how do I put this, inflate the price a bit.
Inflate, you mean like try to make it seem more valuable than it really is?
Yeah, exactly. They might give the seller an estimate that's a little too optimistic just to get them to sign on. And then later, when they can't find any buyers at that price, they start bringing it down.
So it's called a bait and switch?
Pretty much. Dangle a shiny carrot to get the listing, but then reality hits.
Yeah, that makes sense. Which is why due diligence is so important, even more so with these off-market properties.
Couldn't agree more. Never let the excitement of a secret deal cloud your judgment. You always need to do your homework, but especially in this world where information might be a little harder to find.
Right. So how do we do that? How can buyers make sure they're making smart decisions, not just, fighting for a flashy sales pitch?
Data, my friend. That's where tools like Suburbs Finder come in handy. It's like having X-ray vision for the property market.
Oh, tell me more.
Well, it analyzes information from thousands of suburbs across Australia, all those trends and patterns that might not be obvious at first glance. You get a clearer picture of what a property is actually worth.
That's huge. But what about the DIY investors out there? Are there ways to uncover these off-market deals without, hiring a whole team?
Absolutely. Never underestimate the power of good old-fashioned networking. Your friends, family, colleagues, even your mortgage broker, you never know who might have heard something about a property going up for sale quietly.
It's amazing how often those casual conversations turn into something more.
Exactly. And for the data-driven folks, don't forget about those public records. You can find some real gems hidden in plain sight. Properties in pre-foreclosure, short sales. Those are often overlooked, but can be great opportunities.
Like a treasure hunt, but with property records.
You got it. It takes a little more effort, but the payoff can be huge.
This has been eye-opening. I mean, we've covered a lot. The excitement, potential benefits, those hidden risks, even where to find these off-market deals.
It's a whole other side to the real estate market, that's for sure.
It really is.
Oh.
And I think the biggest takeaway for anyone listening, but be cautious. Don't let a good story overshadow the need to do your research.
Well said. Knowledge is power, especially in this game.
Couldn't agree more. This has been a fascinating deep dive into the world of off-market properties. We hope you've walked away with some valuable insights and maybe even a new strategy or two. Until next time, happy investing, everyone.
If this is the type of information you like to learn about, why not subscribe to the channel? If you subscribe to Suburbs Finder now, I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you do not, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will give you a big bear hug.